My partner has PMDD. Now what? This is the title of my new course that just became available. And for the month of December, I am going to give the first 12 individuals who purchase this program a private session with me to go over all of the modules with them and customize it to their relationship only for the month of December and only the first 12 individuals. This course is specifically designed for partners. If you've ever said to yourself that you want your partner to be more supportive, you wish that they knew more about PMDD, you've been sending them articles and they're really just not changing their behavior. If you're the partner, you've read more about PMDD, but it's not giving you the actionable tools on how you can get your relationship to be better, to reduce that stress in your relationship. If you're even on your last leg and you're saying, Dr. Rose, I don't know if we're going to make it because we've gone through so many fights, we've gone through so many arguments in PMDD, we're really close to fearing the next month in PMDD because we barely made it last month, and you're feeling like you need the actionable tools as the partner on how to be more supportive and then also get your needs met. Because I know that partners go through so much when they're in PMDD and they need a place to really process that and really understand what am I doing wrong and stop beating yourself up. And most of all, stop walking on eggshells. This program is designed so that both the partner who has PMDD and the partner who doesn't, to stop walking on eggshells within your relationship and get back to that place of having the peace. Because that's one of the biggest things that PMDD can take away from your relationship because of why the chaos and confusion of not really understanding what to do in PMDD. What happens in the luteal phase? What do I need to do? What do I need not to do? What are the mistakes that I'm making? This course is going to give you all the information that you need. It's going to go through the PMDD symptoms. It's going to go through the number one partner mistake. It's going to go through intimacy, attachment styles, family dynamics, friends and families. And then most importantly, I am giving you my signature 6 characteristics of a supportive PMDD partner. And I'm giving you the actionable tools on how you can start implementing those within your relationship. So I'm looking forward to the first 12 individuals. You'll be able to book a session with me that is going to be complimentary with this program, along with all of the workbooks, the tools, everything that you need is in this program. And it's called My Partner Has PMDD. Now what? I look forward to hearing about the transformation that you get from this course. I'll see you in there. We got this. So today I'm going to be talking to you about something that I know goes on in your mind every single month that you go into PMDD if you're the partner that suffers with PMDD, and also for the partner who doesn't have PMDD. I am going to solve this mystery because it keeps coming up during PMDD. And I always know that if there is any level of chaos and confusion, PMDD will take it and it will force you to deal with it. And it'll make up stories in your mind about whether it's true, whether it's not true. And when you don't have the definite answers for a lot of things in PMDD, it leaves it open for you, for the partner that has PMDD, for PMDD to make up stories, have intrusive thoughts, and all these things. And for the partner that doesn't have PMDD, it leads you to wonder. And when you're in that level of chaos and confusion, you really don't know what's going on in your PMDD relationship. This can literally lead to the PMDD monthly breakups because you're so frustrated, you're so overwhelmed, you're not sure what's true. You almost feel like you're in this altered universe where every single month you're like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, is it me? Is it my partner? Should I be with this person? I feel like they are. And here's what we're going to discuss today. And it is your PMDD partner abusive? And the reason why I really want to answer this question for you and give you the information and give you the tools on what you can do about it, it's because a lot of times I've noticed for me, when I've been making these videos specifically, people on TikTok are very responsive. Like, I love my TikTok community and I just joined TikTok this year, but they are very much like, no, Dr. Rose, how about, like, I'll say something, I'll be posting a video. And I'm literally saying, hey, if your partner, actually, if you want to go to my TikTok right now, you can actually listen to the video and you can see the individual's comments. And I want to make sure that I'm responding to them because I'm here for you. And so when I see a pattern, like I always say, when I see a pattern of these questions and these doubts and these fears, I like to debunk the myths. I like to give you the facts, give you the research based information so that you're not confused. But basically, I was making the video and I was saying that if your partner is pretty much giving you the persona of they're saying hurtful words, right? If your partner's saying hurtful words, then it pretty much means that there's an unmet need. There's something that your partner is needing, and instead of focusing on the hurtful words, or instead of focusing on the behavior, you need to focus on the root cause of what is your partner's unmet needs. And so the response was like, or maybe it's the fact that my partner's just abusive, and this is something that I shouldn't be dealing with in PMDD. And I responded to the young lady and I basically said, I am in no way telling you to stay with an abusive PMDD partner. I'm talking to if you have a supportive PMDD partner and someone that's genuinely trying, you give them a little bit of leadway. You give them a little bit of grace that they're just trying to figure it out, that they're not automatically going to know all the right things to say and do, because when you found out that you had PMDD, you're still trying to figure out what to say and do. So I feel like there's so much pressure being put on the partners to be supportive PMDD partners, and they're not really understanding what that looks like. And that's why I created my program called My Partner Has PMDD, Now What? In that program, it is literally teaching the partner on what are the characteristics of a supportive PMDD partner. What do they need to do? What do they need to not do? All of the things that they're trying to figure out on their own. And this is backed up with years and years and years of research with actual partners of individuals who have PMDD and actual individuals who are suffering with PMDD. So this is not something that's made up. It's not something that's in the textbook. It's not there, right? And so I wanted to give those tools to the partners so that they can stop being put in this box of I'm not supportive or I'm abusive or all of these things. And so that was the purpose of me making the video. So if you've not joined that course, I currently have 9 spots available for the month of December. We're now on December 15th. We're halfway there. So only for the month of December, I'm going to be offering that complimentary private session with me that's really going to go over the modules in the course and be able to customize them to your individual relationship. So that's only going to be available for the month of December. So if you need to pause this, go grab that course, then we can schedule your private session. I do, fill out my books pretty much on Sundays. I plan out my week. So if you've not already gotten that and gotten the private session, I want you to make sure that you take advantage. This is the only time of the year that I'm doing this, where I'm offering the private sessions. You will be able to purchase the course after that, but you just won't get the private sessions. So I want to make sure that you get in there, get those private sessions so that when your partner is coming to you and saying, I need to be more supportive, I just had a client session yesterday and they were telling me that I just need my partner to be more supportive and really not knowing what that looks like. But because when you're in PMDD, you know that you need a supportive PMDD partner, but you also you don't have the energy to sit there and explain every little detail, every characteristics to your partner. And you shouldn't have to. When you're going through PMDD, you shouldn't have to be put in that burden of teaching your partner. That's what I'm here for. So take advantage of that offer for the month of December 2024. I cannot believe we're going into 2025 already. And one of the things that I've really been doing for myself and my journey is just reflecting on this past year and just being very intentional of what do I want next year to look like? What do I want my next year to look like? What do I want to bring into my life as far as relationships are concerned? What kind of individuals do I want to add to it? I feel like 2024 was my year of emptying my backpack. There's this movie called Up in the Air with George Clooney, and he had this amazing phrase where he said, there comes a time in your life where you empty your backpack and then you have the opportunity to choose what you put back in it. And that has been my 2024. When I started the year, my backpack was empty. I was single again. I was out here. I was trying to figure out what it is that I wanted, what it is that I needed, what is it that I needed to grow from. And I've been on that journey of really being very introspective and finding myself again, like I talked to you before. And that's been such a journey because you can lose yourself. You can absolutely lose yourself in relationships, especially PMDD relationships, especially when you're trying to hold on to PMDD relationships, because you go into that fight mode, that fight or flight, where you're just every month you're just focusing on saving your relationship, and so you're kind of contorting yourself, right? I'm all for bending but not breaking. What I mean by that is I'm all for bending. If I need to bend in certain areas of the relationship, if I need to compromise and shift a little things so it doesn't trigger my partner or change a couple of things so it, works well for the relationship, that's great. I'm not into breaking. I'm neglecting my needs. I'm suffering so much in my mental health. I'm suffering so much in PMDD that I'm unrecognizable. And so that's where I noticed that I had become. And so it's been pretty much this journey of just like thinking of myself of under a big pile of rubble. And slowly but surely, I've been removing the bricks, removing the rubbish of what was on me. Honestly, my self esteem, my self worth took a big hit. It took a big hit. This over the past, it didn't take a big hit over the past year, but it took a big hit before that. Towards the end of my past relationship, I completely degraded myself in a way of trying to save my relationship. I let go of all my boundaries. I let go of all my self esteem. I was pretty much like, I'm willing to do anything to save this. And I had to rebuild myself after that. I was just like, who is this person that's always doubting themselves and questioning everything? And so it was a very weird place to be because I was in the highlight of my career. I had my doctorate, I finished my dissertation. I was helping so many clients, still am helping so many clients, but I found that I was lost. And the core of who I was just overshadowed a little bit. And I don't regret it because I really am proud of myself for doing everything that I could do to hold on to something and make a decision not based off of a PMDD monthly breakup, like, oh, I'm just going to make this decision and it's going to come out of nowhere. No, it was very well thought out. It was very intentional. I gave it everything. And I think when you get to that point, because I've counseled so many, PMDD partners that ended their relationships. And I always say, like, if you've not gotten to the point where you can literally say, I've given everything to this relationship, you have no business breaking up. You have no right, you have no business because you have a level of responsibility to the relationship. So when you're feeling like when you're in PMDD or your partner's in PMDD and you're wanting to walk away, you have no right to walk away from that PMDD relationship unless you've given it everything that you've got. And that's exactly why I created the program. Because if one of the biggest complaints that you're having as a partner who doesn't have PMDD is, I can't handle my partner when she's in PMDD. I can't handle what it does to me. I need to protect my mental health. Then what you should be doing is investing in getting the tools that are going to show you what that looks like. Allow yourself to show up as the best version that you can as a partner with someone who has PMDD. Don't give up on the relationship. Don't give up on the family. Don't give up on your future if you're in that place of feeling like you only are working with the tools that you have for yourself. You're only working with what you know about PMDD. And because PMDD is so under researched, because PMDD is so undervalued as far as we need to get in here and find solutions. I'm not even saying cures, right? I never come on here and say, I'm going to try to help you find a cure for PMDD. I still suffer with PMDD. I've suffered with PMDD for over 18 years. At this point, I'm not trying to even, if that was the case, I would be disappointed every single month when my PMDD symptoms showed up. And I would caution you to be in that mindset of like, it needs to be a cure. Like, and I know as the partner what you're thinking is, let's just get rid of PMDD and we'll be great. That's really unrealistic, being that there's no cure. So, what I would say is dial that back and say, how can we manage PMDD? And I would tell you to do it 1 month at a time. When I give my private clients, like I just had one yesterday, a session yesterday, I gave them homework for the week. I give them homework and I say, okay, this is what you need to do for this week based off of what is specifically going on in your relationship right now. Because everybody's handling different things. Everybody has co-parenting. Everybody has problems with finances. Real life, real things that are happening in any relationship. And then PMDD exasperates that. So I help you navigate those real things that are going on in your relationship and then tailor them to what your partner is going through in PMDD or what you're going through in PMDD. And what I will say is when you get into that mode of taking those baby steps and you're saying, okay, I'm going to use these tools for this week. That's all I ask you to commit to. I don't say for the next month or the next 10 months, for the next year, this is what you need to do, because then you're going to feel pressure and then you're going to feel overwhelmed. And when you're going in PMDD and you're feeling pressure and overwhelmed, it's going to make your symptoms worse. So any tools that I give you are never going to overwhelm you. And I'm extending that same thing with your partner. That's why in this course, there are 14 modules and they're bit by bit. And you can literally say, all right, Dr. Rose, I don't want to overwhelm myself. I'm going to do one module at a time. And then I'm going to work on that one thing during this week in my relationship or during this month in my relationship. It's self-paced. So you can go as fast or as slow as you feel that you need to in order for this information to really sink in, for you to really understand PMDD better, understand the symptoms. You know, sometimes when your partner is just saying that they're going through PMDD, you don't really understand what that looks like. You don't understand what that feels like. You don't understand the amount of suffering that your partner is really going through because they're probably hiding it. They're probably trying to hold it in. They're probably feeling like I can't show them how bad this is, or I'm just going to pretend like I'm not suffering as much as, I am. And I did that. And I remember doing that because I thought I was doing the right thing. I was like, the way my partner is responding to me suffering in PMDD is triggering him. So what I need to do is to hide my symptoms, pretend like I don't have them, and then I will be being a supportive PMDD partner. I went through hell, absolute hell, trying to hide my symptoms from my partner. I will never, never, ever, ever do that again. Never again will I be in a relationship where I feel like I need to hide my symptoms from my partner, because my partner is supposed to be a person that is supposed to help me navigate my systems, help alleviate some of my suffering. Not saying that they're supposed to, cure it, but I should be able to go to my partner if I'm suffering with anxiety, PMDD anxiety, and just saying, babe, I'm experiencing a lot of anxiety right now. Like I'm feeling very hyper vigilant. All of these things are triggering me. There's a lot of noise going on. There's a lot of commotion going on, and it's really, really triggering me. I need some time alone. Is that something that you can really help me with? Is that something that you can help me with? And what I teach in the course is I teach your partner how to respond to that, and without feeling like he's the problem, without feeling like she's the problem, without feeling like you need to shame your partner for suffering in PMDD. It's like, what is the response that my partner would need if they're coming to me like that? Because what I will tell you, when you respond in a way that is not beneficial to your partner, they will shut down. So maybe if you think back earlier in your relationship, your partner used to open up about, their symptoms. And now they're at a point where it's like, I'm not, why even bother? Why even say anything? Because I know it's going to turn into an argument. I know it's going to turn into a fight. I know they're going to make it personal and make it seem like, it's something that I'm doing wrong. And so you've gotten to this point where you said, I'm not going to talk about my symptoms anymore to my partner because they can't handle it. And when you get into that place, the intimacy is going down the drain. What slowly but surely, whether you recognize it or not, the more you hide from your partner, the deeper the intimacy is lost. You're not sleeping together. You're not holding hands. You're not being intimate. You're not doing all the things that you do in a relationship. So you're going to ask yourself when you go into PMDD, why am I even in a relationship? And I will say, when you get to that point, it's very hard to hold on to something. It's very hard to hold on to something when you no longer see the value in it. If you're fighting for something, if you're fighting for someone, but you no longer see the value in it, you just start to see your partner as a burden. That's when you know you're headed for not just a PMDD monthly breakup, an actual breakup. Because when you stop seeing the value in something, when you stop investing in something, you're redirecting that value and that focus in other things. You're trying to distract yourself. Maybe you're distracting yourself with the kids, and you're distracting yourself with work, or you're distracting yourself with friends. You're avoiding your relationship because you no longer see the value in it, and you're just living and existing and saying to yourself, I guess this is how it's going to be. I guess it's always going to be like that. And so this is when I will always tell you, this is time where you need to get help, because you need to rewire your PMDD brain. And if you're the partner that doesn't have PMDD, you need to rewire your brain to where you're starting to gain hope again. In my dissertation that I wrote, I literally talked about one of the main symptoms that really damage the partners of individuals who have PMDD is they had hopelessness. When they lose hope in the relationship, when they lose hope in their partner, that anything's going to change, that anything's going to be different. This is not only when they want to break up, this is also when their mental health has a decline. This is when the suicidal ideations happen for the partner who doesn't have PMDD because they're so frustrated, they're so overwhelmed, they're losing hope, they're feeling like everything's going to crap. When your relationship is not right, when there's not peace in your home, you will not enjoy any other area of your life, or you will enjoy those other areas in a way that's not healthy for your relationship. Meaning you're going to be avoiding the relationship so much where you might start having these coping mechanisms of drinking too much, vaping too much, doing all these things to alleviate your stress, and it's causing you to have unhealthy habits because you're losing your freaking mind and you don't know what else to do. And there's no one there to tell you, like, hey, this is what you need to do. So today, what we're really going to focus on, again, if you haven't gotten the program, My Partner Has PMDD, Now What? I'm reminding you again and again and again because I don't want you to miss this offer of the free session for the month of December. So you can pause this, go grab that spot. If you go to the website and it's not available anymore as far as the private session, just DM me on Instagram. It's Dr. Rose _ in love with PMDD, or on TikTok is in love with PMDD. And my email is rose at in love with PMDD. I'll put all of the information in the show notes. If you go there and there's no spots left, just DM me. I will see what I can do. But I want to make sure that you grab that for the month of December because I can only take a certain amount of clients. So let's get into, is your PMDD partner abusive? Let's just get this out on the table, right? Because I know both of you, not just the partner who has PMDD, both of you at some point have said, I think my partner is abusive, or you talk to other people and they've told you, why are you even with this person? They're abusing you. Like, you deserve better than that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the partners who do not have PMDD. And then I'm going to go over the partners who do have PMDD because, as someone who has PMDD, who has premenstrual dysphoric disorder, we do have the propensity. What I mean by propensity, we can be abusive to our partners. I just want to say that whether it's consciously or subconsciously. And the biggest way to recognize that is to own it. Don't get stuck in blaming and shaming yourself and all of these things. Just own it. Own your behavior. Take accountability for your behavior, not as a way to make you feel bad about yourself because you have PMDD, because you're suffering, not as a way to minimize your suffering, but as a way to help you understand what you need to work on, right? So the first way that your partner, a partner who doesn't have PMDD, can be abusive, and they show characteristics of being an abusive partner, is if they start minimizing your PMDD symptoms, dismissing or belittling your experience as someone who is suffering with PMDD, or saying that you're exaggerating it, or saying comments like, it's all in your head. An example of this is your partner saying, you're just being dramatic. Everybody has bad days. I don't understand why you can't just shake it off. That's an abusive comment. Anything that's in the neighborhood of that is an abusive comment. The next thing is using PMDD as a weapon, bringing up PMDD to blame, the partner who's suffering with PMDD for every disagreement or conflict. I've been in a relationship where it's like that. Was like everything was my fault because I had PMDD. Oh, it's PMDD again. Let me guess, you're triggered. Let me guess, you're depressed. Let me guess, you're overwhelmed. And then an example of that is you're just acting like this because it's your PMDD. Again, making you feel like nothing that you say matters, like you don't have any valid points, like you can't bring up actual issues that you have in the relationship because you have PMDD. The next thing is emotional neglect, refusing to offer support or comfort or understanding during PMDD episodes. So did you know that not being a supportive PMDD partner is a form of abuse because you're giving your partner that emotional neglect, ignoring your partner's need for emotional reassurance and saying, deal with it yourself. I can't deal with you in PMDD, so you just need to deal with it on your own. That's a form of emotional abuse because you're in a relationship to be emotionally connected. If your partner is shutting down on you and telling you you need to handle it all yourself, that's an abusive mentality. This is why I have the program. My partner has PMDD. Now what? Because it helps you to not shut down and tell your partner to handle it on their own. You're learning the tools of what can you do when they're suffering in PMDD that actually makes their PMDD symptoms better. It's not your responsibility to cure your partner. It's not your responsibility to heal your partner of PMDD, but it is your responsibility to support them in whatever it is that they're going through. It's kind of like if your partner had financial problems and you'd be like, "Oh, that's on you. You handle it. Like, let me know how that works out." What is the point of being in a relationship if you're not going to support them in the ways that they're suffering the most? This suffering in PMDD is just like suffering in any other area of your life. So do not think that because it's a disorder that you have no responsibility of helping them because you're not a medical, person. You're like, "Oh, I'm not a doctor. I can't help you." But there are things that you can do, and they are located in that program. So go to inlovewithpmdd.com and go get that program to understand what you can do. Again, I'm not saying that you need to do all the things, but you do need to do something as their partner. So the next characteristics of an abusive PMDD partner who doesn't have PMDD is gaslighting. And this is a trigger for me because it's so hard for the individuals who have PMDD. You're already confused. You already have like, I don't know what's going on. And so when someone gaslights you, it's the partner is making you question your reality by denying or twisting the facts. I think it's so unfair when partners do this because the partners who are suffering with PMDD are at a disadvantage. We're already confused. We're already overwhelmed. We're already like, is it me? Is it my partner? Is it my symptoms? Do I really have this problem with my partner? Like, we're already thinking that. And so an example of gaslighting is you don't really actually feel that way. You're just imagining it because of your hormones. Like, I didn't really say that to you. Like, maybe your partner said something hurtful to you, right? And then instead of them owning it and saying, yeah, and taking accountability and saying, yeah, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have handled that. They're like, I never said that. I never said that. You're just imagining it because you're in PMDD. Oh my gosh. This is so stressful and it can give you really bad anxiety because you'll start to believe it. When you're being gaslit in PMDD, you'll actually start to you'll be like, did I say that? Maybe they didn't say that. Maybe I did imagine that. Maybe I'm making things up in my mind, even if they actually said it. And so the next sign of abusive behavior as a partner who doesn't have PMDD is controlling, dictating how your PMDD partner should handle all of their symptoms or their life choices, like saying, oh, you're in PMDD, so you need to do this and you need to do that. Having this really controlling mentality of trying to tell you what you should do. An example of this is forcing your partner to follow these strict routines or these diets or these treatments or these consultations and all of these things without your input or consent. Like you don't really want to go and do these routines, but your partner is kind of making you do it and is saying, listen, if you're going to be in this relationship and if you're the one that has PMDD, so I need you to do this. That's a controlling behavior and that's the sign of an abusive partner. The next thing is the verbal and emotional abuse. So using insults and name calling or mockery to undermine the partner, making you feel even worse about yourself. If you have PMDD, you already know you get into those modes of feeling bad about yourself because you're not able to show up as you normally do. So when your partner is saying those hurtful words or calling you crazy or name calling or calling you unbalanced or you're just too much to handle, that's a form of verbal and emotional abuse telling you, all of these negative things about you that's making you feel even, more horrible. The next sign is withholding support. Refusing to help with things during PMDD. If you're the partner and you're saying, I during the PMDD episode, I can't help with the kids and I can't help with the household tasks because you're deciding to go hibernate and avoid the partner and the relationship as a whole because it doesn't feel good to you. An example of this is saying, I'm not going to pick up your slack just because you're having a bad week of PMDD. And I know for the supportive PMDD partners out there, you're listening to this and like, nobody would really say that. Yes, they would. I've seen it. I've heard it with my own eyes, with my own ears. This is things that can go on in a PMDD relationship. Again, I'm not saying that if you are mirroring some of these qualities that it's like, oh, throw away the whole relationship. I'm saying this needs to be a wake up call for you. Like, oh my goodness, I am actually being abusive. I need to work on this. Because I always say, if you're willing to work on it, as long as it's not causing harm, to the livelihood of the individuals, if you're willing to work on it, then you're good. The next thing is playing the victim, creating, centering themselves as the ones who suffer the most in the relationship. I've seen this, I've experienced this where I'm suffering a lot in PMDD. And instead of my partner really understanding that I'm suffering, it's like, well, I'm suffering too. What about, what I have to go through? An example of this is saying, do you know how hard it is for me to have to deal with you every month in PMDD? So now you're in a situation where you're feeling shame about having PMDD because your partner is putting it back on them. Like, it's really hard for me to deal with someone who has PMDD and who has all of these symptoms. So now you're in a situation where you're feeling even worse about having PMDD, and you're knowing that it's something that you genuinely can't control, and your partner's making it feel like they're the victim. So the next thing is this resentment and this passive aggressive behavior, holding on to grudges about the impact of PMDD on the relationship and expressing it indirectly. So an example is this: making little comments like, I guess everything has to revolve around your PMDD as usual. I guess we need to make a plan for PMDD as usual. Oh, we were planning on going on a vacation, but I guess we can't go because of your PMDD, huh? It's that passive aggressive behavior. When they have a lot of resentment because their needs haven't been met, and they're feeling like you're a burden, they're making these passive aggressive comments like up, and they're even translating it to the kids. Oh, your mom's not doing well today, kids. Like, she can't do it. She's suffering in PMDD. It's that time of the month again. I guess we're just going to have to handle things on our own, making you feel like crap for experiencing the PMDD symptoms. So I see why a lot of partners who have PMDD hide their symptoms, because they're having to deal with an abusive partner or a partner who's displaying abusive behavior, because they're having to make they're making these passive aggressive comments, and they're having to hear it, and they're having to deal with it. And the last characteristics of an abusive PMDD partner is using the threat of abandonment to manipulate or control the partner who has PMDD. Saying comments like, I can't do this anymore. If you don't fix yourself and your PMDD symptoms, I'm leaving. This is one of the most abusive ways to have these PMDD monthly breakups, because it puts so much fear in you that you feel like you're genuinely going to lose the person that you love and care for and want to be with if you don't fix yourself. So for the partners who are listening right now, if you're mirroring some of these comments and you're saying to yourself, hey, I'm actually doing some of these things. I didn't know that this was abusive. I didn't know that this was something that, it was harming my partner in this way. Number one, I don't want you to run away. I don't want you to run away from this. I want this to be a wake up call, in a way of saying, Dr. Rose, I need to learn how to be a supportive PMDD partner. I didn't know that I was being abusive in the relationship. I want to find a way to navigate it in a way that doesn't cause my partner to feel horrible, that doesn't cause me to feel horrible, that can show moving forward that we can have peace, that we can enjoy those parts of the relationship that we do actually enjoy. I want you to take a step. I want you to take action. And the action is not to run away from the relationship. So this is not a get out of jail free card where it's like, oh, Dr. Rose is giving me permission because I guess I'm just the bad guy. I guess I'm the one that's abusive, so I need to leave this relationship. No. And for the partner who has PMDD, I'm not giving you permission. And I'm not saying, hey, if your partner is being this way, I want you to let this be an open conversation that you're having with your partner and saying, okay, we heard this, like, let's come together, because you're still in the relationship. Let's come together and see what we can do about this. Let's be self-aware. Let's take the blaming. Let's take the shaming. Let's take the criticism. Let's take the defensiveness off the table and say, I love you. I want to be with you. And if you're exhibiting these behaviors, let's work on this. And the best way to work on it, if you have PMDD or your partner has PMDD, is to get the program. My partner has PMDD. Now what? Get that private session and really have a game plan, because I have found with all of my counseling, hundreds of PMDD partners who have PMDD and who don't, when you have a game plan, when you have actionable tools that you can do, which is why I give you actionable tools every single episode here, and it's over 100 episodes of tools that you can use. When you're in that place of having a game plan and you're doing something about it, you don't feel like you have to give up the relationship. You don't feel like you have to give up the person. And I want you to get into that place of really understanding that you can enjoy your relationship with your partner. You do not have to break up. But when you're in a situation where you're the partner that is exhibiting these abusive characteristics, be willing to get help with it. It's that saying where again, where everybody feels like they're about to break up, the first thing they say is, let's go to counseling. And there's a reason for that. It's we need someone on the outside to help us in this PMDD relationship, because we cannot do it on our own, and you're not expected to. And that is why I'm here. So if you haven't grabbed that spot, if you haven't got those private sessions, go to inlovewithpmdd.com. And until next episode, We got this. Love you. I hope these tools help you and your PMDD partner. If you have not enrolled to get the course, My Partner Has PMDD, Now What? Then you want to make sure that you are one of the first 12 individuals that gets the course for the month of December to get that complimentary private session with me. And then after that, it'll go back to regular price without the private sessions. But what this course is going to do for you is give your partner all of the tools that they need on how to be a supportive PMDD partner. What does that look like? I always say that your partner doesn't need more information. They need more implementation. They need more transformational tools. And this is the program for you. So I'm looking forward to you getting those tools in the program. And until next episode, we got this.